with power. Powered by School of Eloquence, the home of public speaking.
Hello and welcome to Speak with Power. Speak with Power is a magazine television program that focuses essentially on the art of public speaking. So many people struggle whenever the issue of public speaking comes to the fore. Today we have a lot of ideas that can help you. As always, my name is Ubong Isien. I'm a certified speaking professional and I'm also the Dean of the School of Eloquence. Now, Speak with Power is brought to you by the School of Eloquence. The School of Eloquence is Nigeria's home of public speaking, where we've trained and coached thousands upon thousands of individuals from all walks of life, whether they are professionals, business owners, celebrities, royalties, politicians, those in government, public and private sector, you name them. We've been there, we've done that, and our focus is essentially to teach the world to speak, to teach people to overcome their fears and master the art of speaking confidently. So, what do we have lined up for you on today's program? Essentially, we're going to be looking at 4 different segments, or we have 4 different segments for you, coupled with a few other useful ideas and tips that you are going to take away. And I would encourage you to see this program as a mini school, a mini academy in your room, in your living room. So get out a notepad and a pen so that you can make some notes and try to put into practice some of the ideas that you're going to be taking away from watching this program. As always, we'll begin with our drama skit, a short playlet, and this week's episode is titled Evelyn's Palaver, the story of a young female professional who struggled with public speaking, and it cost her a great opportunity on the job. You'll get to enjoy it, but perhaps of greater importance would be how instructive the drama skit should serve in building you up and encouraging you. From the drama skit, you'll join me in the masterclass where I'll be talking about the myths of public speaking, some of the myths of public speaking that we carry in our heads, and I'll be debunking some of those myths in order to free you up to learn how to speak well in public. And then from the myths of public speaking, we'll also go into a conversation. I'll be having a chat with my dear friend, Mrs. Henrietta Yakubu. Henrietta Yakubu is currently the General Manager, Corporate Affairs for the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN. We're going to be talking about public speaking and its role in the life of people who have to speak for organizations. And so if you're in corporate affairs, you're going to find this interview very useful. And finally, we'll go out there on our public opinion segment to speak to lawyers. Yes, lawyers. A lot of lawyers think they can speak well in public. So we ask them a very important question. And that question simply states, as a lawyer, what was your worst speaking experience? So you'll hear from the lawyers. They'll tell you what perhaps was your worst speaking experience. So if you're ready, as I am, get your notepad and your pen. It's time to learn how to speak with power. So to do well in public speaking, you must see it as a relationship between yourself and your audience.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Sorry, hold on. Good afternoon, sir. Sorry, good morning. Sorry, I'm so sorry. The photocopy. I'm sorry, no Lagos, traffic, everything. Photocopy. Today is Thursday. Do you have a copy? Okay. Please. You know, Solute, our company, we incorporated Evolve about 5 years ago to create awareness, to awaken the spirit of invention in Nigerians. And but it did not progress. Why didn't it progress? Number one, lack of awareness. Okay, lack of awareness is number one. It has been a major problem because when people don't hear about, then number two, after lack of awareness, we have number two, lack of manpower and incentive. Lack of manpower is number two. Number one is lack of awareness. You remember the former HR? Remember him, Mr. Eko? Mr. Eko complained to people that people did not give funds. People did not give funds. That time to Mr. I'm sorry, but he did not give funds. Please, this time, please give funds. The reasons are because, sir, manpower, incentive. Sir, don't go incentive, manpower. Mr. Eko, I said, don't manpower, Mr. Eko. Incentives, manpower, incentives, lack of awareness, Mr. Eko, everything. I read everything. What did I do? I messed up. I really messed up. I am so done for.
Do you feel terrified when speaking before a group? Are you stressed when asked to present? Do you forget your points? Are you shy and need confidence? How do you give a speech with polish? Learn how at the School of Eloquence,
The home of public speaking at 47B Oduduwa Crescent, GRA Ikeja, Lagos. Attend our 2-day practical training in public speaking. Call 0802-303-2066 or log on to schoolofeloquence.org.
School of Eloquence, teaching the world to speak.
It's all these glamorized beliefs that people have about public speaking, but are not necessarily true. One of it is that people come and they say to you, I'm not a public speaker. Public speaking is not for someone like me. But reality has a different take on that. Whether you like it or not, sooner or later, you will be asked to speak in public. I remember working some years back with the wives of 2 deputy governors. It was meant to be the wives of 2 governors in attendance, but they then delegated their deputies. Because as it appeared, when the wives of the governors, the first ladies, were invited to speak, and they couldn't go because of stage fright, they delegated it in quotes to the wives of the deputy governor, their own wives, so to speak. And the 2 women were lamenting during the course. So, listen, look at me, I was just living my life, minding my business. My husband then went and joined politics. Now, every time the governor's wife will not go, they will keep sending us. They were really lamenting. Obviously, we are not for people like us. Well, your reality as it is for the next 3 years in office or for your husband is that whether you like it or not, public speaking has now become for people like you. So sooner or later, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we all speak in public. Then there's the myth that says you don't talk with your hands. Just stay rooted to one spot, put your hands in your pockets, or use your hands to clasp or grasp at something. Well, you will find that the hands represent one of the tools you need to use in communicating for gestures. Look over the heads of people as you speak. Some people don't want to look into the eyes of their bosses. As we're saying management, the DG asked me to, the ES asked us to, they are looking over the heads of people. To connect, you must look at their faces. Make what is referred to as eye contact. You have to practice it and get used to it. It took me 2 days to work with the wife of an aspiring governor with reference to eye contact. And her problem was more cultural than fear. In some cultures, especially in the Yoruba culture, they tell you not to look at an elderly person when talking to them. It's considered insulting. It's rude. So for her, I had to probe and probe for 2 days until she finally opened up. And I told her, if your husband wins this election, what happens? What happens? You're going to have to go to groups, talk to them. Some of them will be cheap, traditional rulers, leaders. This is public speaking. You have to adjust to this approach. Then when you're having a cultural conversation, you can go back to status. 4, memorize your speech. Please, please and please. Never memorize anything but the concept and the major ideas. Find a way to use other words to communicate the message. Standing in one place to speak, we encourage people to move. As you speak, you don't have to stay rooted completely. You can move your body, move around. That will help you dissipate some of those energies. The essence of a lecture, which is point 6, is follows. Have you ever noticed people doing something like this? Do something like this? Yes. The lecture. Hold your microphone. Give your notes and then talk to your audience. Once in a while, you can rest your hands for a couple of seconds, but bring the hands back into activity. When you don't have a microphone, you can do this for 1, 2, 3, or 4 seconds. Get back. This is really the posture of a good speaker. This is really the posture, the movement, methodology of a good speaker. It is you going to your audience. But if you stay rooted like important plants, within the next couple of minutes you begin to sound boring, and before you with your voice you begin to drone. When you give your body open access more or less to move, you lift yourself. And once you feel lifted, your entire body orientation is lifted, your vocal energy will also go in that direction. These are the mechanics of speaking that you must do over time until you become much more dynamic and natural.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power. Speak with power. Powered by School of Eloquence, the home of public speaking.
Basically that particular speech and I forgot the first line, so that made me like lose my train of thoughts, and it was just downhill from there, and I just could not remember, because speech is supposed to just, I follow like step by step, like ripple effects. This happens when this happens, when this happens. When I missed that first line, I just could not get it back.
They called me out, to come and preach. I did not prepare, but I know that something in me tells me that I will do it. Unfortunately, when I got to the pulpit, I fumbled that day. My hand was shaking. I cannot even pronounce Bible very well that particular day. I wanted to say Joseph, I said Joseph, shivering that particular day. In fact, it was hell that day.
First time I was called to the bar, the first court I went to was the Honorable Justice Kenneth Johnson. Now, when you're in court as a lawyer, the first thing you do is to announce your appearance, then you sit down. The other party announced their appearance. So what I did was announce my appearance, and move my emotion. I didn't allow the other lawyers talk. So it was the judge that said, looked at me. He's still on the bench, very nice judge. I said, sit down. Let them announce their appearance. It was quite embarrassing because the public litigation-wise, you announce your appearance, you sit down, you let the other lawyers announce their appearance, then you now address the court.
I was just actually going off point. I couldn't maintain a high contact with my audience. And another thing I noticed was that my eyes were blinking. I was blinking and blinking my eyes. And I think those are the two things that I noticed that I wasn't able to connect very well with the audience. So
while I was newly called to the bar, I was asked to represent my director in a site, in a training, to deliver a paper somewhere in ABC. And when I got there, that was actually my first time. I was scared. When I was actually going to speak to people that I was older than, people that were still in school and all that. While I was presenting the paper, I was kind of shaking and all that. But when it was a 3-day program. But after the first day, I was able to correct my mistakes and all that.
The very first experience, I was nervous. Holding the microphone was like a hell. I was shaky. My hand was like shaking. I had to drop the microphone first, then speak with only my voice. And when I got a grip of myself, I went back to my microphone and I was.
Do you feel terrified when speaking before a group? Are you stressed when asked to present? Do you forget your points? Are you shy and need confidence? How do you give a speech with polish? Learn how at the School of Eloquence,
The home of public speaking at 47B Oduduwa Crescent, GRA Ikeja, Lagos. Attend our 2-day practical training in public speaking. Call 0802-303-2066 or log on to schoolofeloquence.org.
School of Eloquence, teaching the world to speak.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Eloquent Conversations. Here at the School of Eloquence, I get the opportunity to speak with professionals, leaders, luminaries from all walks of life, where they get to share with us their knowledge, their expertise, their experiences, their exposure, in order for us to become much more enlightened. And they do it in an eloquent fashion. They also get to talk to us about their experiences as far as public speaking is concerned and how important they found it in their respective fields of human endeavor. And today, my special guest is no less a person than the current General Manager, Corporate Communications, some call it Corporate Affairs, for the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, known as FAN. I'm talking about Mrs. Henrietta Yakubu. Mrs. Yakubu, welcome to this conversation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obong. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon.
Excellent. You're the spokesperson for FAN, and definitely communication skills have to be very important to you. And I think much more broadly, yes, if you want to look at that. Mm-hmm. How important is it for a manager, a leader in business, in government, to be able to articulate their thoughts, to speak before audience? How important is public speaking for the professional in any field?
I've come to realize that public speaking is something that you must involve yourself in. You need to let the members of the public know what you're about in your organization, in your agency. So it is something that you must do. It's no longer what you can just hide behind in your office and you just think that people will just naturally assume or for them to know what you're doing. You must speak out. You must be in the public domain as often as you can, informing members of the public of what your agency is all about, giving out information. You need to be on the offensive, not on the defensive. We shouldn't be out there when things happen and then we're there to defend. No, we should let out as much information as possible to the public domain. Let people understand what we're doing, how we're doing them, letting them understand the intricacies of our agency, giving out the information that they need to know. We shouldn't wait for things to happen before we speak out. So public speaking is important. It's something that you must do all of the time without missing words.
So do you look at it as someone who has had to speak and communicate, talk, you keep on talking, explaining things, sometimes you're trying to persuade, you're trying to encourage people to understand with fun. Sorry, there was a problem, but we want to assure you we are on it. When you come back next time, you can rest assured you will be better catered for and all of that. From your experience in speaking to the public, whether it's a small group or a large group, do you think public speaking or that ability to speak to people in public is a gift, a natural talent, an endowment, or a skill that you have to develop and nurture? Which school of thought do you lean towards?
Public speaking is a skill that you have to develop. That is why I'm here with you today. I remember I just woke up one day and I realized that I needed to improve on my public speaking.
But you had been speaking?
Yeah, I was speaking, but I realized that I wasn't probably doing it well. And I needed to be guided. I needed to understand the art of public speaking, how to be able to speak and carry along my audience and convince them and make them understand what I'm talking about. That was how come I discovered the School of Eloquence. And so far, I've learned so much. You have been able to guide me. You have been able to put me through. So public speaking is a skill that has to be acquired. It's a skill that has to be learned. It's a skill that you must study. So you will become proficient and then be able to speak better and carry along your audience and be able to convince them, inform them better, and also educate them whenever you're speaking.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me take you down memory lane. Okay. Just try to think back far. Only God knows how far back you're going to go in your mind.
Okay.
Can you remember the first time you were asked to speak in public, or you were suddenly called upon? To maybe somebody just brought a microphone, tossed it in front of you, and you were asked to just say something. And if you can, how was the experience like the first time you spoke in public?
It was embarrassing. It was scary.
Tell us a bit more.
My voice was shaking. I had tears in my eyes. It was a terrible experience. And then I thought, in order to be able to speak publicly, I had to look over the head of the audience. But I've learned from you that I shouldn't. There should be eye contact. But that first time I spoke, I looked over the head of the audience. I was not looking at anybody in particular. I was just looking over the sea of heads ahead of me. And of course, that is not public speaking. So that first experience was a terrible experience. I'm sure at the end of it, I did not communicate because I was wondering about what to talk about and if what I was saying was actually effective. So it was a very terrible outing and it scared me. And from that first day, I didn't want to speak again. But I noticed that for each wedding I attended, I don't know why, they were always most times they won't inform me ahead of time. Oh, Mrs. Yakubu, come and take the cutting of the wedding cake. So I now had to learn how to be able to officiate during the cutting, the cutting of the wedding cake. So I had to learn. But that first experience, it was actually also during a wedding ceremony. That was the first time I spoke, and it was a terrible outing. I was so embarrassed. I think I left the wedding ceremony after I had officiated, but subsequently I improved because I had to learn how to do that better, and I improved on that.
That's fantastic. So think about this. I'm sure you would have listened to a variety of speakers.
Yes.
Nigerians in particular, in the public domain, historical or present day, contemporary Nigerians. Give me at least five of your most admired Nigerians in the public domain. Anytime you hear them speak.
I love Pato Tome. I've always admired him when he's asked to speak. I admire Jerry Ghana. I remember when he was in Mamsa. Oh, wonderful. I love Jerry Ghana. Yes.
Anytime.
Yes. Ezekwesili, I love her. Oh, wonderful. She's a wonderful speaker. I love, I'm trying to remember her name now. She's the chairman, First Bank. That lady. Oh, she's a lovely speaker too. I admire her too. She's a good speaker. I also love Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She speaks very well too. Obasanjo, I like him too. He speaks well too. So these are some of the few that I admire. Nigerians that speak very well. Yes.
Absolutely. So finally, what thoughts do you have to encourage people
Yes.
with regards to this, regardless of their position in life, regardless of whether they are high up there or they are climbing? What advice would you want to give to them about the importance of public speaking?
Even if you just have one person listening to you, it's important that you speak well. It's important that you make your listener understand what you're saying. So public speaking is something that every Nigerian should learn. Let's put aside shame, fear, and go to the experts and learn how to speak. It's a skill that we need. There's nothing as good as when you speak and the audience actually clap for you. You'll be good. You feel good with yourself, and you feel confident that you have spoken and people have understood what you have spoken. So public speaking is a skill that everyone should learn how to do it and how to do it very well.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Yakubu. I am proud of you. Very proud of how far you've come and of your performance. So well done.
Thank you.
Kudos to you, and thank you for this very enlightening conversation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Esan.
Always a pleasure.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power. Speak with power. Powered by School of Eloquence, the home of public speaking.
It's been my pleasure bringing you today's episode of Speak with Power, and that you found the program useful and that you move on with some of the ideas to ensure that you become a better speaker and improve your chances of success in whatever it is that you're currently engaged with. As always, we'd like you to continue the conversation with us by visiting our social media handles and engaging with us so that the learning can continue and the improvement can also continue. So, till I see you again next time, remember, rhetoric is the art of ruling the minds of men, and to persuade through public speaking is to prevail. The stage is yours. Speak with power.
Speak with Power